All right, Bobby, you're our intro guy.
Today is a special day, and today is a podcast where we talk about that special day. I'm Bobby Parker.
And I'm Joey Nickel.
Welcome to Today Is.
All right.
It's a podcast.
All right. Well, we are back after what seems like a very long time. It doesn't seem like that long for you guys because we pre-recorded an episode, but we have not seen each other in a while.
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Two weeks, which
Yeah.
is an extended amount for us as we've grown this relationship through Today Is.
Yeah, we have. This is one of the longest times we've gone without recording. Last week's episode was Small Business Saturday.
Small Business Saturday, yeah.
Which I tried to do my part on Small Business Saturday, and I did visit some comic book shops.
Very nice.
Not in this area because I wasn't in town, but I did visit some things, some comic book shops and some toy shops and stuff while I was in Fort Walton Beach.
Very, very nice.
So
not small businesses here, small businesses there.
yes, small businesses in Fort Walton Beach.
They've got them. It's perfect place. Go where you can to support the local mom and pops. I love that.
Yeah, so I had a show in Fort Walton Beach. I did. Sorry, I'm still adjusting the volume and stuff. I had a show at the Block in Fort Walton Beach. Have you done the Block?
I have not done the block. You were there with
I was there
Nick
with Nick Harvey. Yeah. It was great. It was a good show. We got there, and when I got there were 6 people there.
Right.
And I was like, oh, it's going to be one of those shows. And the doorman was like, yeah, there's only 6 people here right now. We're going to give it time. We're going to start the show at 8:30. It normally starts at 8.
Okay.
Well, the way he put it, he's like, if it's full, we start at 8. If it's not, we start at 8:30.
Okay.
And it wasn't full, obviously, because there's only 6 people. And so we waited until 8:30. And I think we got up to 30 people by 8:30. So
that's a decent increase.
It was a decent increase. It was a decent amount. It was great. We had a really good show. We ended up with good. It was funny that when Nick was up there, he did count every person in the audience, and as a bit, and then said, "Now I expect this many more followers. Like, go follow me on social media." And then afterwards at Waffle House, he said, "Nobody followed me."
Yeah. But that's actually a clever way to do that. That's not bad. I've not seen Nick do that before, so that's fun.
Yeah, it was a great show. I had a really good time. Nick did very, very well. Nick is one of those guys that he's not like an animated guy by any means. He is not.
No.
He is not a character by any means. He's very relaxed and chill on stage, but is very, very clever, very funny, very good at writing, very good at delivery and stuff like that. Very, very makes it look effortless when he's on stage. He does have a. I guess I'll shout him out. He gives me a lot of work. He brings me along and has me open for him when he can. And he's booked us on stuff.
Yes.
So I feel obviously he deserves some shout outs here on the program, which we've mentioned him before. But definitely go check out his dry bar. He has a dry bar that you can check out. Nick Harvey is his name, and I'll try to put his name in the comments too. People like that when we can give them a reference.
Absolutely, and one of the real cool things about it, just bringing up my comedy nerd thing here, I was listening to Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, the Leanne Morgan episode, and she shouted out Dry Bar Comedy. So I mean that's it was a huge step for her that helped her become who she is at this point.
It's funny, which I have been told by several comics that have dry bars that's like, you should submit, like you should get involved. What's funny is I know some of those guys because it's filmed in Provo, Utah. I lived in Provo, Utah. I was not a comic at the time. I know like the very first dry bar special was Kellen Erskine, who's we've talked about it before. He's a good friend of mine.
Right.
I did not know him before comedy, but I know him very well now. People I went to college with at BYU have dry bar specials. It's crazy to see that didn't exist when I was there. The dry bar did not exist. It was a Wise Guys comedy club at the time.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they took it over and then turned it into what it is. I think it's hilarious that I could have probably furthered my comedy career by staying in Provo, Utah. That is not the place I would have expected to be able to launch my comedy career, but a lot of careers have been launched out of Utah because of dry bar.
Yep.
And it's been a great help to a lot of up and coming comedians. And I think it has also helped to shape the comedy world as far as clean comedy is concerned.
Absolutely.
Without dry bar, I think without dry bar, there is not this great success of what Nate Bargatze is doing. Like if we don't have dry bar, we don't have Nate Land, I think.
I think we'd have it just nowhere near.
It wouldn't be nearly as popular.
As popular.
Dry bar definitely. You know, it's funny. Dry bar got flack at the beginning because they only did clean comedy, and the flack was all from people who did not know what they were talking about. Like it was obvious that it was all from comics that were like, just making fun of them because they were clean, and it's like. And little did they know that would be the movement. Like that would be. There are comics now that weren't clean that are now strictly doing clean comedy because they know that's where the movement's headed. That's where everything's headed.
And I don't understand that hey, I have a problem with it because it's clean. Just like I don't understand.
Well, go ahead.
I don't understand the hey, this is just a blue comedian. Like, hey, it's not my style. It's not my thing. You know, not necessarily something I'm going to go out and watch. But hey, there's an audience for it. It's that person's personality. It's what they do. Yeah. Live your life.
Yeah, I don't understand people who think that there's two sides to this because it's on both sides. Because I've heard clean comics, not so much anymore. It's been a while. It's been a few years since I've heard this, but like that clean comedy is superior because it's harder to do. Like that whole clean comedy it's only harder to do if you're not a clean comic. Like like if that's your personality, it's not hard to do at all because that's just how you're gonna write. Yeah. But so don't give me that it's superior. Also, on the flip side, we have comics who are like against clean comedy. They're like, oh, it's bland or it's not edgy because it's clean. And it's like, first of all, there's always going to be people who prefer clean comedy. That's just going to always exist. Whether you do clean comedy, I don't care. My favorite comics are not clean comics.
I
don't think I have anybody in my top 5. I exclude Friends though in my top 5. Like I don't put like Dusty Slay in my top 5. Like I think it's weird to put him in a top 5 and honestly, I mean, I love Nate Bargatze. And I don't know him personally. I've met him once. He's not a friend of mine. I wouldn't say he's a friend of mine by any means. I would say Dusty Slay is definitely a friend of mine. He's a good friend of mine that I've known for 10 years. But I would not put Nate Bargatze in my top 5 favorite comics.
I probably wouldn't have him in my top 5. I love him. Like
certainly deserves to be in the top 5 of people's comics.
Yeah,
he certainly deserves and is one of the greatest comics working today.
Right.
But he's and I can recognize that he's phenomenal, and I've seen every special. Yeah. But I personally would not put him in my top 5 favorite comics. Where I'm like, I've got to hear top 5 for me. It's like. A qualification for a top 5 favorite comic would be I have to hear everything they do. Like, and when something comes out, I'm super excited when any kind of media comes out from that comic.
Right.
And I'll listen to their special or album multiple times. Yep. That's what it takes for them to be in my top 5, I think.
What about Brian Regan?
Brian Regan, honestly, I would not put him in my top 5 either.
Okay.
I know he's great, and honestly, Nate Bargatze doesn't exist without Brian Regan. Like Brian Regan it kept clean comedy alive during him and Gaffigan, but Brian Regan, I think more so. Like Brian Regan, because Gaffigan wasn't a clean comic when he started. His first album is not clean.
Actually, either was Regan.
Really? Regan wasn't either.
He had a fairly well known bit about the different ways you could use the F word, and it's just that I.
That's so funny because I can't picture his delivery without it being clean. He's got such a delivery mechanism that it's like that, which is I'm sure why he sticks to clean comedy.
Right.
But it's like, and Jim Gaffigan says the same thing. He's like, it's hard to not stay like it's weird to not stay clean when you're talking about food. It's like he's like my material does not lend itself to not being clean.
Right. He talks about food and his kids.
Yes.
So
right.
so it's hard to.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like now I say that, but like definitely in my top 5 is Maria Bamford, but she's not blue. Like she's I would say I can't think of an instance of her being crass or necessarily that filthy or anything like that, but she's definitely not clean. She's just her. Like she just does whatever she does.
I don't know who said it recently, but she's just her own category.
She's her own category. I would not put her in a category of like dirty comedy or like adult themed comedy, and I definitely wouldn't put her in a clean comedy category. She is just Maria Bamford. That being said, I would feel like my wife does not like to go to comedy shows where they aren't clean. Like that's she prefers going to a comedy show where they're clean. I would feel no problem taking her to a Maria Bamford show, even though I know she's not clean. She's not. I don't know. It's very interesting. I think you're right. She is like her own category.
Yeah, it just very, very, very unique. Just supremely talented, and people don't know what to do with it. She's just that good. Like
she's
stand up, but like she could do so many other things if they figure out what to do with it.
She's just so she's like on another plane of existence when it comes to comedy. Like she exists in another dimension of what we understand as funny and as comedy. Like you see somebody like okay, let's say I would say the opposite of somebody who is okay. This person is also very talented and also very successful, and considered one of the greatest would be Jerry Seinfeld. I would say Jerry Seinfeld and Maria Bamford, I would say, are like in different dimensions. Yeah. Like they don't like their crossover ends with them being stand-up comics and standing on a stage and being in the same profession. Yeah, and it's crazy those two are the same profession.
Living at the same time. That's about it.
That's about it for their crossover. But it's crazy that those two things are the same job. Like and they do the same thing and they sell. It's a little loose. Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
So it's crazy that those two people do the same job, but they exist on a different. Now, that being said, I'm sure Jerry Seinfeld is many people's favorite comic. He is not in my top 5, but I have a reverence for Jerry Seinfeld and a respect for Jerry Seinfeld that probably goes beyond almost any other comic. Like,
yeah, his amazing work ethic, writing, he's a joke writer.
Yeah. He is one of those people that, like, I remember to me he was like the first comic that I found out about their process, because he did Comedian, that documentary, and
yes, amazing.
And it's like to figure out he takes it so seriously and spends so much time on the writing. Now, I don't write like that. Like, he writes things out and it's these notebooks and he's like a mad genius when it comes to writing his comedy and very obsessive about it. I don't write like that, but it's like the first time that I saw the behind the curtain of somebody doing that.
Right. Yeah.
And the notepads and stuff like that, and it's very interesting. He takes that very seriously, and so I have a huge reverence for him. He's been getting a lot of. I think it's very popular right now to pretend like you don't like Jerry Seinfeld, and I say pretend because it's like I understand he's not like everyone is going to have preferences, but there are too many comics I'm hearing on podcasts saying that they don't like Jerry Seinfeld for that to actually be true for everyone who's saying it.
Right.
Like, I think it's a very, very anti-culture thing to do or counterculture thing to do to say you don't like Jerry Seinfeld now or to say he's bland or whatever. It's like, all right, maybe, but he's also the most popular comedian to have ever existed in the world.
Yeah.
Which may be a strike against him in their eyes. Because there is a bit of a there is definitely people who prefer the rebellious comic.
It reminds me of the quote somebody said to Metallica, like, "Hey, you guys are sellouts," and Metallica responded back, "Yes, we've sold out every stadium we've been to." I mean, yeah, it's just. It's them.
The difference between a sellout and Jerry Seinfeld is I don't think Jerry Seinfeld has changed his comedy. Like a sellout is somebody who changes who they are because they know it's going to sell better. And that being said, I don't have a problem with the sellout, by the way. I don't have a problem. I respect anybody's hustle. Like, I respect anybody who it's like, I certainly feel like there's certain points in my life where, there's certain areas that I would probably accept a sellout label if I could get this, if I could.
So I'm getting money for it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm getting paid for the thing that I want to do.
I've got to put just a quick pause here. Did you hit record?
I think so.
Okay.
I know I did hit record. I flipped the phone today because is it recording? Okay. I hate the way it looks on the other side.
Okay.
The camera on the FaceTime camera is what they call it for iPhone, but the rear facing or front facing, I don't know which one's rear and which one's front.
Yeah.
The screen facing
face
camera is not nearly as good. I've noticed there's a difference in the camera quality.
Gotcha.
Of the screen-facing camera and the one that faces us. So I went back to that. I have been considering getting an external monitor for it, which seems like a bit much for a phone camera. But I don't like the way it's been looking lately. It's been looking a little more washed out.
I was gonna blame me. Usually when people say I don't like the way it looks, it's because I'm there.
So I flipped the camera around. That being said, it is not helping our anxiety to not know if it's recording or not.
Yeah, I looked up probably like 5 minutes ago, and I'm like, I've got to ask.
Yeah.
Where do I break it?
So we're recording. This is why we need an assistant. This is why we need to hire an assistant for no money. We need an unpaid intern.
Absolutely, just like the Seinfeld episode, Kramerica.
Yeah. Anyway, what were we saying?
We were talking about sellouts, Maria Bamford, top 5 comedians.
Yeah, so I just feel like everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I just feel like there's too many comics saying they don't like Jerry Seinfeld for that to actually be true. It's like, okay, you don't like good joke writing? Like, I don't know. And that being said, it's completely valid to say he's not what he used to be, too. Because if you say, like, he just is but I wouldn't consider Jerry Seinfeld a sellout. I know by numbers he is. Like, he's obviously one of the richest men in the world. And so that, by definition, by that definition, he is a sellout because he did sell his art to be on TV. But that being said, I keep saying that being said, he did what he wanted on TV.
Right.
He was the first one to be like in control and to kind of kick against the network and was very adamant about doing what he wanted on that show and subverting the network. Like, he's done a lot of things that are very not sellouty. Like I would never classify him as a sellout because he's done what he wanted to do his entire career.
Yes, I like even having Larry David involved. Was a big
and
weird
he stuck
thing
by
for
Larry
him.
David. And which was obviously the right move because Larry David's a genius,
Right?
And obviously that's a huge part of why Seinfeld was so successful, and we see that now with Curb Your Enthusiasm that how much of a genius Larry David is, but it's just he's always kind of done what he wanted to do, and the only thing that would classify him as a sellout is that he made money at it.
Right.
He's not a sellout. He's just successful. Like I would say that. I'd make an argument more for Nate Bargatze being a sellout than Jerry Seinfeld. I don't think he's a sellout either.
I don't. I think he has a very difficult. I think he's got a more difficult journey though. Because
Nate Bargatze.
Yep. Because Seinfeld was very strictly a joke writer.
That's true.
Where Nate is a storyteller and relates how he deals with things personally, and his world is changing so much. His common man thing is not as easy to hold.
That is something, and maybe this will make us famous, or maybe it'll make me not be able to get on Nate Bargatze's on the Nateland network. But I think, and this is not. Like he's obviously rich. Like he's obviously wealthy and has in some aspects of his life become out of touch. That's not that. I mean, obviously, like that's going to happen when you become wealthy and you're wealthy for long enough, and you know and things like that. But you can tell in the podcast, which he very rarely is on even anymore. He's very rarely on the podcast that is his namesake.
Yes.
It's mostly Brian Bates at this point. At this point, it should be called the Brian Bates Land or whatever, because Nate Bargatze is rarely even on the podcast anymore. But to be fair, when he is, it's gold. Like when he is, he's so quick and sharp, and he's such a good comic. He's so funny.
Yes.
Like honestly, I enjoy his persona on the podcast maybe more than his stand-up comedy because he's so quick and witty. It's so impressive to see how quick he can come up with stuff.
Yep, and he's very good at needling people and doing the hey, we're making fun of you, but not in a really bad way.
Yes, I love it. I think he's great. I think he's phenomenal. One of the greatest comics to be that way. But he also is not an everyman anymore. And he desperately is trying to cling to that everyman. Like his last special was called Your Friend Nate Bargatze. And it's like he's not an everyman anymore, but he really and I think it is becoming increasingly difficult for him to write to that because he still wants to appeal to the everyman.
Yes.
That's his bread and butter, which is most comics' bread and butter, obviously, is to appeal to the everyman. I would say maybe not most, but a lot. Like that's how you make money. Like you have to appeal to who you appeal to. And he's definitely not a comic that has like you can kind of focus on a core group of fans and make a living that way, which certainly so many comics have done that. But that's not Nate's style. Like he is the style of trying to appeal to everybody, and so he desperately is trying to cling to that. And I think now maybe to everyone else, like maybe he is still pulling it off. Maybe he is still pulling off the everyman.
I think he still is, but
to the general public.
But I think that it's becoming more difficult.
Yes, it just is becoming more difficult. But I see it so many times on the podcast. Whenever he's on the podcast, and somebody like Brian will say something, or even Dusty will say something. Dusty, it's funny because I feel like Dusty is pulling off what Nate is so desperately trying to pull off, and part of that is that Dusty doesn't venture into. Nate has stretched himself so far.
Right.
He's built an empire. It's hard to be an everyman when you've built an empire.
Absolutely.
He's literally building a theme park.
Yes.
So by that regards, I could see making an argument for a sellout at that point. You're like, well, he's making a theme park. Like,
I mean, or a buyout. He's buying everything.
It's more of a buyout than a sellout, right? Exactly. So I still wouldn't classify him as a sellout because I do feel like he is being true to himself, and he is. I think another hallmark of a sellout is you forget where you come from. And I don't think he has.
No, I don't think he has. I think he's doing everything he can to bring people with him.
Yes, absolutely.
And elevate his hometown, the city he lives in,
absolutely.
Everyone with him.
He's a very, I feel like he, and don't get me, I don't know him. Yeah. So I could be wrong, but he seems like, and maybe I'm getting duped by this personality, but he seems like a very generous person, a very nice person, and people love him. And I feel like he brings people along. Like, look at how many comics that he started with who now have careers because of him.
Right. Yep.
It's like, so I would never classify him as a sellout because of that. And I think anybody who does is just jealous of his success.
Yeah.
I would never do that. But I do think that he is not an everyman anymore. I just don't. I just think he in any sense of the word is not an everyman, but he is still trying to cling to that persona because he knows his comedy will not be as good, or maybe it won't. So, see, the other thing is like Jerry Seinfeld had that too. At some point, it's like, well, you're a millionaire, and you're talking about. You're talking about the breakfast cereal. Yeah. And it's like, at some point, it's like, I kind of want to hear what it's like to be a millionaire. Like, now that being said, the general public probably would not like that.
Right.
But I want to hear it because I've heard everything. It's like, I don't know what it's like to be a millionaire.
I have got zero clue.
So I kind of want to hear what Jerry Seinfeld's life is like. I'd like to hear him write. I don't want to hear what his life is like. I want to hear him write jokes about what his life is like.
Yeah.
As a millionaire. And that being said, it probably would not do well. I don't think people like rich people, the general public at least, are not fond of rich people. So I can understand why Nate Bargatze plays down, like he literally did a Super Bowl commercial where he is like is trying to budget. It's like, oh, I'm spending too much money. It's like you can't. Yeah. You have made so much money. There's no way you can spend too much money at this point. Yeah.
That's why he's buying a theme park.
That's why he's buying a theme park. So it's like, so he's obviously still wants to hold on to that and have that, which I understand it, and I would probably do the same thing. I would probably want to hold on to that everyman, but that's because he is the thing that makes it hard for him is that he is putting his life out there, like you said. Right. Like he's not just a joke writer. He's not observing the world. He's presenting his life, and I think that's there's kind of two styles of comedian when you break it down. There is the presentation of your life, and then there is an observation of the world at large.
Right.
I think those are the two styles of comedians.
Yeah.
I mean, can you think of a third style?
No, those
musical
those are,
comedians, but they're terrible. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Prop comedian.
Prop. Yeah,
prop
I guess
comic.
That might be the third. Actually, yeah, I guess a prop comic would be the third. Not to say you can't be one of those other things and be a prop comic,
right?
But I could see that being its own category, being a prop comic, because it's not really an observation. Being a prop comic,
It's a weird thing. I think it probably fits more under the observational. Like, hey, we're taking this and this and combining it. I'm thinking just random Carrot Top stuff.
Yeah, I would say definitely. If you were to categorize it into one of the two, it would be observation. Here is the world around me, but I still like. It's hard to even categorize it as that. It's definitely joke writing as opposed to storytelling.
Right.
Like if you're categorizing it into storytelling and joke writing, it's definitely joke writing and not storytelling.
Yeah.
Prop comedy. Not to say it couldn't be storytelling, but I have yet to see a prop comic be a storyteller. I think Gallagher probably tried to do that at some point, and failed at it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's I can think of times when Gallagher probably was trying to tell a story with his act.
I I barely remember watching a couple things when I was a kid about Gallagher, and he was like on a giant couch, and then he smashed watermelons, and I don't really understand what I was seeing. And I'm like nothing against it. Like I was.
Oh, something against him.
Oh,
no,
well,
absolutely something against Gallagher.
at the time, at the time, I was a kid. I didn't understand what I was seeing.
Yeah.
So nothing against them then. Like now, I don't care.
There's a famous podcaster who I'm not going to shout out because I'm not really that big of a fan of him anymore. But he did say when he met his father-in-law for the first time, he's like, now this comedian / podcaster, he is a stand-up comic, and he loves his father was a jazz musician.
Okay.
So he's really loves jazz music and loves brass and stuff like that. And he met his father-in-law for the first time, and his father-in-law, in a conversation at one point, said, nothing like jazz and comedy. And he's like, yeah, those are like my two favorite things. And he goes, yeah, Kenny G and Gallagher. And he's like, oh, that's not what. Those are not the jazz and comedy I was thinking of.
That's
smooth jazz is a very different thing than jazz.
That's like saying, man, I love holidays. Nothing beats Arbor Day.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
what?
It's like what? Like
people celebrate Arbor Day. What?
Yeah, that's crazy. Although that being said, that sounds like something somebody would say to us.
Yes.
Because of the podcast.
Yeah, true. But we move off of it quickly.
But it is odd. It is odd to hear like, yeah, I love jazz and comedy. Those are like two of my favorite things. Oh yeah, who are your favorites? Gallagher and Kenny G. It's like, okay, well,
G&G, baby.
We cannot have a conversation right now.
And my whole weekend dedicated to the smooth jazz of Kenny G and Gallagher specials. Like, actually, random thing that I heard about Kenny G that I love is that he owns a seaplane.
Really?
And he
flies it.
And
he's a pilot.
He flies it to like up and down the West Coast when he's traveling for shows. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, that is pretty cool. That's like when we found out that Harrison Ford was a helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
And do you remember he like saved a kid from a fire, like a forest fire or something like that? Do you remember that? It was like in the 90s, I think.
Remember hearing something about like all of a sudden like, hey, I'm about to die. Hey, Han Solo's picking me up in a helicopter.
Yes, yeah, that was everybody was talking about it. Which it's interesting. Like he saved that kid because he happened to have a helicopter. Nobody else could get to him. And then he didn't like do a talk show circuit about it. Like the only reason people knew about it is because other people were talking about it.
I like that more.
Yeah, I love that. And you know who else is awesome? Well, I say who else. I don't know if Harrison Ford is awesome or not necessarily.
Right.
I don't know enough about him. That was awesome that he saved somebody with his helicopter. It is awesome that he flies a helicopter.
Yeah.
It is awesome that he played Han Solo. And Indiana Jones,
and the president,
at least once, and Jack Ryan, and
I forgot about Jack Ryan.
All these iconic characters. But you know who is an awesome person, and I see more evidence of that over and over again. Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah.
Like he does so much that we don't even know about. Like, for instance, the Matrix movies. He made so much money off the Matrix movies, but he felt like. The effects department did not get enough money, so he took money out of his salary and gave it to the effects department.
That's cool.
Because he felt like the effects department was what made that movie successful.
Right.
And they a lot of those guys are just
hourly.
Paid workers, and they don't get the residuals that that somebody like Keanu Reeves gets, and so he out of his own paycheck paid them more. Which is great, and he does that all the time. He has been on movie sets where people in the crew have needed surgeries and couldn't afford it, and he paid for the whole surgery. Yeah. Like he just does stuff like that.
Like I know one specific story. Like he was like at an airport, and there was some delay. So like, hey, we're all just taking a bus because the destination is like 4-hour drive.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, we're getting on the bus. He paid for it. He paid for everybody's dinner, stuff like that on the way. He's like, hey, might as well.
Yeah.
We're all going to the same place. We're all inconvenienced the same. I can help out and make it a little bit better for people.
I love hearing stories about people who do stuff like that. And Keanu Reeves has never told any of these stories. They're all from the people who he's helped and affected, so which is great. Also great to hear. And I feel like I would want to be that person. I would want to be a Keanu Reeves if I were that successful. One big difference is, like, even when I am successful, and I do try to bring in my friends and comics and stuff whenever I have success, like with our show and with my show in Nocatee,
Right,
I try to, obviously I want to share the success and pay well and stuff like that. But it's like I also have a family and kids and stuff. So if I ever do get successful, I'm always going to be thinking of my family first. So,
Absolutely, and you should.
Yeah, and and obviously yes, nobody's going to argue with that. But it is. Was that a plane?
That
That
is
was
a
loud.
plane or a helicopter. Yes.
Is that Kenny G? Or Harrison Ford?
They heard us and they came a calling.
Yeah. But I do feel like it is nice to Keanu Reeves has no children, or is he even
That
does he
we
have?
know of.
Yeah, I don't think he did. Yeah, that we know of. Maybe he's keeping that secret. But
He does have a long-term girlfriend.
who's he? He's got a girlfriend now. Yeah, he's got a girlfriend, but not like he doesn't like have a family to support.
No.
So it is nice that he, in lieu of having a family to support, is able to be so generous with the people around him.
I think that talking about generosity is actually a good leeway into what our topic is for
Yes,
today.
our topic today. Yeah, that is actually. So I would say that Keanu Reeves is the living embodiment today of who we are. Our topic is. Today is St. Nicholas Day.
St. Nicholas Day. I love it. One of my all-time favorite characters, historical figures, and I say both because it's both.
Yes. St. Nicholas Day, for those of you that don't know who St. Nicholas is, which if you celebrate Christmas, you should know who St. Nicholas is.
Yeah, frankly, if you watch this podcast and you don't know who St. Nicholas
Yeah.
is, I'm really confused.
So he was a 4th century bishop of I think that's pronounced Myra, or maybe Mira. I don't know. It's Turkey, modern-day Turkey.
Modern-day Turkey.
But he was known for his kindness, generosity, and miracles, and became a beloved figure in many cultures, and his story continues to inspire acts of charity and goodwill. Although St. Nicholas Day is primarily observed in European countries, it has influenced the global Christmas tradition, with St. Nicholas serving as the inspiration for modern-day Santa Claus. So,
I would also like to point out he's known for all of those things, but he's also known for punching someone in the face during the Council of Nicaea, losing his bishopdom, and then being reinstated like a year later after.
yes, so that is the most interesting story about him. Forget all the generosity.
Yeah.
Wait, is that in here? Is that story in here? Or
I don't
is
know.
That just a story you know?
That's just a story I know.
Let's see if it's in. It's in. I printed out. So the website. I forget what website it is now.
List of national
listofnationaldays.com is the website I work off of, and they have a whole article about it. Sometimes you go to the day and it's like, today is National Pig Day. Go pet a pig, and that's it. That's all it'll say about it. But this is, look at all of this material, all these pages of material that they came up with for St. Nicholas Day, because he has so much about him.
Yes. And we have many embodiments of St. Nicholas on the set today.
Yes. So St. Nicholas is who became Santa Claus, and this is what one of the greatest traditions. I see. I feel like one of the great traditions is gift giving at Christmas time, and St. Nicholas is the reason why it is so popular to give each other gifts at Christmas time.
Yes.
And I realize it's in celebration of it's symbolic of the gifts that the wise men gave to Jesus for his birth.
which is also symbolic of the gift that God gave to the world through Jesus. So all of these symbols, but yeah, Saint Nicholas is the guy who started actually giving physical gifts to kids.
So in so in Austria and in other parts of that Europe, Central Europe, oftentimes Saint Nicholas is paired up with Krampus. You know who Krampus is?
Yes.
So there's a whole good and evil kind of, not even good and evil. It's just like Krampus punishes the naughty children, Saint Nicholas rewards the good children.
Right. And like instead of it being watered down where bad kids get coal, Krampus turns bad kids into coal.
Yes, yes. Krampus is insane. Like Krampus is a crazy character to have come up with as an antithesis to Santa. It's like we have Santa who gives people presents, and then it's like Krampus is like, no, I'm gonna destroy your children if they're naughty.
Yes, I will hurt you and everything you live for if you don't go to bed on time.
Why is T the only letter that Santa gave presents to?
Why is T the only letter that Santa gave present? I don't know.
Because all the other letters were not T.
Oh. That is awful, and I love it. I will definitely be telling that joke later.
So wait, what did you say? He lost his bishopric?
Yeah, he lost. He was demoted from being a bishop after he punched someone in the face.
Why did he punch somebody in the face?
From what I know, they were arguing over whatever was being discussed at that moment in the Council of Nicaea.
Hold on. I have heard this story, but I forgot about it until you mentioned it.
Yeah, and I don't know a whole lot about it. Other than that, like he was not afraid to get into a brawl, which I'm fond of in a way. But yeah, hey, I don't know if it's accurate or not. And I know that there's no specific record of him being at the Council of Nicaea, but it made sense because it was in that area. He was alive during the time, and I think
according to the legend, Saint Nicholas punched a priest named Arius because he was enraged by Arius's teachings that Jesus was not God. This legendary incident is said to have occurred during the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. Though there is no contemporary evidence to support the story, the legend highlights St. Nicholas's zealous defense of Christian orthodoxy. The theological dispute, the Council of Nicaea, was okay. The legend claims St. Nicholas was so incensed by Arius's views that he struck him during the council. Historical accuracy. While the story is widely told, historical records from that time do not mention Nicholas being present at the council, nor do they corroborate. I'm going to ignore that part because I'm going to pretend it's real.
Yeah. So it's one of those things I've heard.
It's hard to. It would be hard to prove or disprove it, but we'll stick with the legend.
Yeah,
on that one.
Now, I'm not a big fan of punching people you disagree with. However, it was a different time.
Yeah.
It was 345
Yeah.
or 325 or 3 something.
So, have you seen a picture of St. Nicholas, like what he should, like as the Turkish bishop? I'll pull up a picture.
He does not look like...
He doesn't look like Santa now.
He does not look like this guy or this guy. No, I know he has a beard because I think all of those guys had a beard.
Let's see.
That guy's got a giant head.
Yeah, this is a weird picture. Okay, so here's what St. Nicholas looked like, because he would have... Well, this is at least his bishop's robes, but it is kind of funny that he's been converted into red suit, kind of. The red does seem like a theme, but I feel like that a lot of bishops probably wear red.
Yeah, I think they wore red. Purple was more of a royal color.
So the white beard and hair definitely seems like that was That was the thing. He definitely had a white beard and hair. I don't know if he was fat. I can't see any evidence of him being fat, which is funny, because if I had become a larger than life character and they're like, why am I fat? And they're like, why did they make me fat?
Right.
Well,
he was probably heavier for his time because he could afford to eat.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he could have been. He was fat for that time,
right?
Like probably.
Which is skinny and or super muscular for our time.
Right. Now, do you know who invented what we know as Santa? Now,
so
most of what we have is Santa
wearing red.
Just this image of that specific, like as a reference, this specific image of what we see as the classic Santa.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, Coke invented it.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, because before then it wasn't all red.
No.
It was multiple colors for the season, but Coca-Cola, their color is red.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola is responsible for Santa Claus and polar bears being alive.
Yeah. So like, yeah, if you look at like early pictures of Santa, like early depictions of Santa, like he's not even wearing red in this picture, but it's a lot of like, I mean, he's wearing red in this one, but he's like, he doesn't have the like special hat, the hat that Coke made for him.
Right. A lot of it is just very embroidered, like bishop's robes. Like things.
Yeah, he's wearing robes. Yeah, like a bishop would wear.
You'd expect like a Catholic bishop, like middle-aged kind of clergyman.
Yeah, here it is. Here is the Santa, Coke Santa that was invented. And according to this article, Santa wasn't really fat until Coke. I mean, I see early depictions of him.
Well, that makes sense because all of the
well, it was the high fructose corn syrup that did it from Coke.
100%.
Yeah.
All that extra sugar.
Oh, actually, I guess back then it wasn't even high fructose corn syrup. It was just sugar, cane sugar probably.
Cane sugar and cocaine.
All that cocaine and cane. Well, cocaine probably would have made him skinny.
Yeah.
Honestly, that does not look like a cocaine body to me.
He's slamming down the cookies.
But anyway, that is Saint Nicholas became Santa, and now visits us every Christmas.
So this is I want to point this out. This is the stocking that I've had since I was a child.
Oh,
and so this is my Christmas stocking, and he's wearing red in it. And my favorite thing about this is his beard.
It's a fuzzy beard.
It's a fuzzy beard, and because real beards don't feel like that, that's why I've never decided to grow one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've always been disappointed.
I've always been it feels scratchy.
Now that you've lost weight, I think your beard is fuller because you have less surface area on your face.
I've thrown that hypothesis out there. I might
wonder if you could grow one now.
I might try,
patchy.
but it won't feel that nice.
No, it won't feel that soft. No way.
Yeah.
It won't feel it. Mine's pretty soft though. You would feel.
Okay.
Mine's pretty soft.
So, and not that soft.
Not that soft.
But
no.
But okay. Yeah.
But yeah. Then nobody will tell us apart if you will grow a beard, though.
Right, because that's the one thing that differentiates us is you have a beard and I sorely lack one.
There was something else I was going to say about. So, Saint Nicholas.
Saint Nicholas, yeah.
Great dude. Gave presents.
This is actually one of the big questions as far as St. Nicholas. Now, and I know it doesn't necessarily happen on St. Nicholas Day, but Christmas, he comes and he delivers presents.
Yeah.
How does he get into the houses that do not have chimneys?
So, according to the movie The Santa Claus,
right,
a chimney magically appears.
Chimney magically appears.
Or he goes in through like the heating vent and then a fireplace magically appears.
Right. So have you ever heard of like the magic key? Like there's a Santa key.
Oh,
thing?
I have heard about this.
Yeah,
the magic key.
My wife tried to explain that to me one year, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna tell the kids about that. That's weird.
This is what I think. This is how I think he gets into everyone's houses. I think he doesn't use the chimney at all. I don't think that. I think that's a cover. I think they say he uses a chimney, or maybe he does, but he doesn't actually go down the chimney. Maybe he comes out the fireplace. That maybe that's where he's placed all the portals.
Right.
But I think it's. Have you seen the movie The Prestige?
Yes.
So I think he he was able to get that technology of like cloning himself, and then he clones himself, and then immediately those clones die.
Oh wow, yeah, that is.
It's very
wonderful.
dark, but I think that's
very
my
dark. Yeah, I like that. So he basically uses Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, he uses
technology.
Tesla technology to clone himself 1,000,000 times and then appear in everybody's homes. He delivers the presents, and then those clones die and disintegrate. He somehow has invented a way for those clones to die.
Wow, yeah, I was just gonna say like he magically appears, but I love the idea of him.
Because I don't believe in time. I don't believe like all this timey-wimey time travel stuff. Like, how is he able to stop time? But I believe he'd be able to clone himself.
Right. Yeah, time travel completely out of the question, but cloning yourself billions of times.
Yeah.
Which is what it would be,
Yes.
billions of times in a night.
I can't take credit for this theory. I can't. I wish I knew the source on this. If I find it before I put the episode up, I will reference it in the notes. But this is a video I saw on TikTok. Somebody made a sketch about it where they're like, ask Santa anything. And he's like, how do you get to every house every night? And he's like, well, have you seen the movie The Prestige? he's like, I clone myself and then I die every time. It's like, and then there's that line where he's like, every night I think, am I going to be the one in the box or am I going to be the one on the stage? And it's like,
and that's the gift, his anxiety.
yeah, exactly. What's a Christmas tradition that you do with what's something you have passed down from your family to your now family, to your wife and kids family, like your parents' family to now this one?
The one thing that I make every year, and it's my mom made it every year, and it's just the holiday drink. It's wassail.
Yeah.
So we
make it too. My parents make it.
We have that, and it's a small thing, but that's like the big thing.
So you pronounce it wassail.
Yes.
There is. There's a debate on how it's supposed to be pronounced.
Wassail.
Yeah, wassail or wassail. Yeah. And there is a song called, and I can't imagine singing the song wassail.
Here we come, a wassailing, amongst the leaves so green.
No, that's what it is. Yeah, it's pronounced wassail in the song,
right.
but I can't imagine pronouncing it that way in real life. Like I always say wassail, but in the song, it would be hard to pronounce it.
Right.
Here we come, a wassailing,
yes.
And it sounds weird, or maybe it's just because we've heard it that way.
Right, and I don't claim to know one way or the other. That's just the way I say it. I do know it comes from a Nordic phrase meaning to health or have good health. So
okay.
It's wassail.
What is your wassail or wassail recipe? Like, what is in your...
Yeah, so it is apple cider. There's frozen orange juice, frozen lemonade, sugar, cloves, allspice.
Everyone I've talked to,
sticks.
Cloves are definitely a part of it. The way my family makes it is they put cinnamon sticks, and then they put cloves in full oranges. They stick them in full oranges, and then put that in the drink.
Okay.
So the full oranges are in there, and I don't know what else is in it. I'm guessing orange juice and stuff like that. But like that is in the drink is cinnamon sticks and oranges with cloves in them.
Oh, and cranberry juice.
Yes, cranberry juice I think is also involved in ours too.
Yeah, and I'm sure this has evolved over time because I'm sure when my mom was growing up, frozen orange juice wasn't part of it.
Yeah.
But my mom gave me a recipe. It's one I've used my entire life, and it's done in a percolator. I've got a percolator that is only used for wassail. because once you make it in there one time,
That's all. Everything will taste like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
So there is a Christmas tradition drink that is not a Christmassy drink, but my family always made it for some reason. So we had wassail, which was the hot drink. Then our cold drink was a lime was a limeade drink. So it's frozen lime juice or frozen limeade.
Okay.
Like you get a can of so it's not lime juice, it's limeade. So it has sugar in it and stuff.
Right.
And then so it's 1 can of that, a bunch of ice, and a full 2 liter of 7-Up.
Okay.
Of diet 7-Up. If you do regular 7-Up, it turns out too sweet.
Gotcha.
So we have this lime soda that we make every year, and
that sounds tasty.
it's delicious. 1 can of limeade, any brand, and then a full 2 liter of diet 7-Up, and it's delicious.
Now one
and ice. It's got to be cold. It's got to be ice cold.
Gotcha. Like one thing that actually makes me think, like something that was a tradition when I was growing up, and we stopped doing because everyone in my wife's family thinks it's weird. Is we would always get an orange in our stocking.
Oh, we did too.
Yeah.
That is I think it is for some reason more normal in
up north.
It is. I think it comes from England. So like Canada, it's huge still in Canada, and in the UK, in England, in the UK. But we always did it. We always got an orange in our stocking.
Yeah, orange, and that's one of the things that we'd eat right away.
Yeah.
And then like the candy and presents stuff like that you can have throughout the day, but the orange had that, and like I know it was a big deal for my parents because they never got that kind of fresh fruit because they grew up very, very poor. So it was like, hey, that.
So that was a treat.
It was a huge treat for them, and so that stuck. And then when I started putting oranges in stockings, when I had kids and we were living in Florida, everyone's like, we have oranges all, like there's a counter full of oranges.
Yeah.
Like
we always do that, and I still do that too. Yeah, I always put oranges in the stocking. We do the little ones. We do the mandarins. We do the mandarin oranges.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because otherwise it can get stuck at the toe.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it does get stuck in the toe. And by the way, when I say I put oranges in the stockings, I mean, hey, they're put in the stockings, not that I.
Yeah, you make sure Santa knows that
yeah,
oranges go in the stockings.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So celebrate St. Nicholas Day. I do have a. I did want to read some fan mail that we have from last week.
Oh, cool.
Joey and Bobby, thanks for another great episode. I especially appreciate you playing my songs. If you are interested, you could even link to all my other crazy, almost listenable songs. So I'm going to put the link to his songs account, like you can go listen to all his songs that he's been making for us, and just all kinds of songs, not just the ones he made for us. In your show notes. I also really love Bill Murray. I am not sure I've seen The Man Who Knew Too Little or Stripes. That's insane to me.
If you love Bill Murray.
If you love Bill Murray, that you haven't seen either of those movies. But I would certainly add Scrooged as a great one he starred in. One movie I wasn't fond of him in was Charlie's Angels, but Bernie Mac was even worse in the subsequent film. Thanks again for the great work. So I'm going to link his songs, but
Scrooged is
great.
That's probably my, it's hard to rank this, but it's probably my third favorite, Christmas Carol.
What's your, in my opinion, okay, I don't think we said this, or did we? So I have a favorite Christmas Carol, adaptation. On the count of three, let's both say our favorite Christmas Carol adaptation and see if it's the same. 1, 2, 3. Muppets Christmas Carol. Yeah.
Yeah, absolute best one.
Absolutely the best adaptation of Christmas Carol. It's amazing. It is one of the most. We haven't talked about this yet? I don't know. I don't think we've gotten into Christmas stuff yet in the last episode.
I don't think we have.
maybe last year.
Maybe last year.
I don't remember.
We talked about
it.
It
Is it is by the way one of the most accurate adaptations of A Christmas Carol.
Yes.
There is one. I mean, with the exception of there being Muppets in it,
right?
And certain things like what's the employer's name? Tiny Tim's dad.
Bob Cratchit.
But Cratchit, yeah. So the Cratchits have 2 daughters in it, which are not in the story, I think, and certain other things like Foswell or whatever. Like
right.
He has a rubber chicken factory, like instead of what it was. But so there's certain things like that. Obviously, are for the benefit of the Muppets, but. There is like one plot thing that they did change, but other than that, it was like almost completely accurate. And Michael Caine, amazing performance, and plays it straight. Never does anything silly at all. Plays it like he is acting with real people the entire time. Yep. And it is a good movie because of that. If he had not played it like that, if he had not played it serious, then it wouldn't have been as good of a movie.
No, and frankly, it would not have been as good of a movie if they had a Muppet playing Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yes, for sure. Which that's their thing. They're always going to pick. The heavy character is always going to be a human. Right. Like in Muppet Treasure Island, Long John Silver was Tim Curry.
Right, but it's one of those things where I could have seen somebody there saying, "Hey, instead of paying Michael Caine, let's get Sam.
Right.
Let's get Sam the Eagle.
Yeah, to be Scrooge. Yeah, it would not have been as good at all. No, it wouldn't have been as good. No, it's a phenomenal film.
Yes,
and the fact that Michael Caine even agreed to do it is great, and all. And I think that just speaks to the script was probably very good, and that's and he was able to do well. It's funny, we watched that, and then immediately we watched Mickey's Christmas Carol, which is the animated version where Uncle Scrooge is playing Scrooge.
Right.
Which is funny because it's funny his name is Scrooge McDuck, because you would think that would be the origin of Uncle Scrooge, is he was the character they created to do the parody of A Christmas Carol, right?
Right.
But he was Scrooge McDuck before they made that movie.
But that's where the name came.
That's where the name came from, obviously. But it's just funny that he was Scrooge McDuck, and then they're like, you know what? We should probably do A Christmas Carol with him playing Scrooge. It's like, how is that not the origin of his name? But it was decades before that. The Uncle Scrooge was a comic strip series, in the Sunday paper.
I think I knew that at some point.
It was, and then became a comic book. Then when it was pre-comic book existence, he's been around forever. He's been around since like the 20s or 30s or something like that. And what's funny is I always thought the DuckTales show when I was a kid. Did you watch DuckTales?
Oh, yes.
In the 90s, in the 80s? Did it start in the 80s or?
I think it was early 90s.
Yeah, it was early 90s. It could have been late 80s, but it was definitely early 90s. And most of my 90s childhood was definitely spent as a DuckTales fan.
Oh, yeah.
But I always thought DuckTales was a ripoff of Indiana Jones, right? Like, that's just obviously. You're like, obviously this is a ripoff of Indiana Jones. And that's what they're doing. It's all the same kind of archaeological things, and they're finding these. They find out things turn out to be supernatural and things like that. Turns out it's the opposite. So the Indiana Jones movies were written as an emulation of the Uncle Scrooge comic books.
Or and the adventure series that Spielberg saw growing up. But yes, it was a heavy influence.
They predate Indiana Jones. I had no idea about that, and that's why they seem similar. But it was actually the opposite. Indiana Jones came after the Uncle Scrooge comic books.
And yet again, Harrison Ford comes full circle.
Yep. Again, we're talking about Harrison Ford. Celebrate St. Nicholas Day. Give an early Christmas present to somebody to celebrate St. Nicholas Day. And have a good Christmas season. Tonight, let's see. If you're listening to this, I am hopefully at the market in Fleming Island, at the Fleming Island Saturday market. Hopefully it doesn't rain and we have the market.
That'd be nice.
Because if they don't, I will lose money. So come to the market. If you're listening to this and you listen to it as it drops, then I will be at the market today, December 6th.
What are the market hours?
From 9:30 to 2.
9:30
to 2 at the Fleming Island Square. And then tonight is my kids are going to be in the Green Cove Springs Christmas Parade.
Oh, fun.
So
that's awesome.
That will be tonight. Shows. Oh, I will be at the Blue Ridge Comedy Festival next week. Next week on Friday and Saturday, at least. I have shows on Friday and Saturday, and then I might go Thursday to check out what the shows are on Thursday. But definitely, I will be at shows Friday and Saturday at the Blue Ridge Comedy Festival in Bristol, Tennessee. So check that out if you're in the Tennessee area, in the eastern Tennessee area, Bristol, Tennessee. You got any shows coming up?
I am going to be in the Best Christmas Pageant Ever, a play at Island Theater, also in Fleming Island. So Island Theater website is out there. It's easy to find. Tickets are still available, but they are going quickly. It's going to be for 4 days, so I think it's like the 18th through the 21st or something like that.
All right. So check that out. Again, come to the open mics that I run every week. We've got Shantytown every Monday at 8:30 and Root Down every Thursday at show usually starts about 10. Sign-ups at 9:30. Show at 10 o'clock. Probably will not have a show on Christmas Day, since that is a Thursday, or New Year's Day. So just keep that in mind. We probably won't have shows those days. But other than that, come out to those shows. But Shantytown, I think we're good for the... I don't think we have any scheduled cancellations for Shantytown right now. But come every Monday and every Thursday.
Yep, and Fresh Spot the first Friday.
Yes,
last night it was awesome.
We did not. We didn't do one last night.
We didn't do one last night.
So we're not going to have one of those till February. So
okay.
The next one will be February.
That's right. Okay.
Next one of those will be February. Also, the next one of the Nocatee show at Really Good Beer Stop will also be February. So come check those out in February. But happy St. Nicholas Day. Today is whatever we say it is, and you're here for it. I'm Joey Nickel.
I'm Bobby Parker.
See you tomorrow.
Today is whatever they say it is, and we're here for it.